Perfect. Thank you.
Going good, man. Going good. How are you? Yeah, what you been up to? Building stuff? Oh damn, that's annoying. But fun little project to get away from the usual stuff, I'd assume. What's the URL?
For me, it's fine. The stream is working fine. Yes.
Looks good. Hope you have more than one monitor to do this. Is the chat linked to hubs or is it just separate? Okay. Alright. Hello, Jimmy.
Hey guys.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't. It's clear that I should start. Okay. So I assume so. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, I just was thinking. I'm not sure if how many people know already about UIKit, but yeah, I already wanted to present it, and I thought, okay, this weekend I have maybe some time to do it, and want to show what I've been working on, and I also have something new to share. So yeah, just a quick little presentation and about UIKit. And if you have any question during the presentation, feel free to ask. It's not completely prepared. I have some live demos. Yeah, so that's that. Maybe quick question. Who hasn't heard of UIKit? I I assume then everybody has like, yeah, okay. That's good. That's good to know. And yeah, so let me just share my screen. So basically, what? Ah, yeah. Okay. Yes. What? It doesn't seem to be snapping. Yeah. Huh. Is there some key I have to press because it highlights it as snapping?
It should. Maybe. That is strange.
We all have to gather around a little small screen. It for me it shows the snapping point, but is there maybe should I retry it, close it and restart, or maybe maybe it's the object itself that is like bugged, and I just close it and restart.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Just putting it in the network.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, thank you. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's working. Perfect. So yeah, this is like the documentation page of UIKit. We have some examples here. Basically, what UIKit is a UI renderer for 3JS. And it allows to build user interfaces in WebXR, which look similar and behave similar to HTML and CSS. But they also allow to add some depth. And recently we added vanilla 3JS support. So it came out as React with Fiber only, but it now can also be used in vanilla 3JS. Here's the part of the documentation talking about it. And yeah, I've been advancing it ever since it came out. And yeah, the latest version will now be able to convert HTML to UIKit, and that will allow more people, hopefully allow more people to get started with 3D UIs just by using their basic knowledge of HTML, CSS. And I have a small live demo for that, but maybe I should also show some real examples. Maybe also all of you have already seen them. I'm not sure. Like here's a like a complete user interface. It's I didn't design this UI here. It's just copied from a UI library called ShadCN. And yeah, it's just basically everything you see is rendered on the GPU. So there's no HTML element here. You hover over it, it's all canvas. And everything instanced, so it's performant. And as I said, it's I'm not crazy. I'm not trying to like rebuild HTML just because of fun, but maybe mostly because for WebXR, yeah, since you don't have access to HTML, CSS, it's yeah, some kind of necessary there. Yeah, so that's the overview about UIKit. As I said, if most of you already heard of it, I can directly go into the new stuff that I made. But also in case anybody has some questions before I go into like a live demo or something, it's now maybe a good time.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, for sure.
So how are you
Oh,
rendering
sorry.
all the
I
elements?
wasn't.
Is it done on
It's clear
shader,
that
or
I should
are
start. Okay.
those geometries that you generate?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you use STFs, or what kind of tech do you use?
Yeah. So what you see is, or mostly I realized that modern UIs are basically either panels, which are basically rectangles, and text and icons. Text and icons is like should be rendered via SDFs, or in this case, it's a multi-sign distance function, and all the panels, they are just a rectangle, and the shader is used to allow it for like border radius, um, and everything is, as I said, instanced. So you're basically I'm basically rendering no, every glyph, every character in here is one rectangle, but instance, so it's one draw call. Yeah, and every panel is also instance. However, like the images in here, since they are individual textures, they cannot be instanced. But the background effects on here, they are all panels, like they are rendered as rectangles. So to answer the question in short, like it's partially done in shader, but it's not like the whole UI is one rectangle. It's basically split up in primitives, and these primitives are rendered, and the effects on the primitives are rendered via shaders.
I see. Okay. Very nice.
Maybe a short example here on this example, I have a performance meter. And in case you see it on the top right, there's the indication how many draw calls are used in this scene. So I can type in here, I can select it, and everything is rendered live as using only 6 draw calls. And this is the amount of draw calls is currently, because there are 2 icons in there. These 2 icons, they are currently not instanced because they are actual geometry. So I'm using just FreeJS SVG to geometry conversion. But that could also be done using a sign distance function, but there is no library yet I know of that they can do that. So in theory, you could get down to 3 or 2 draw calls for the whole UI. But
Wow.
as I said, 6 is already like relatively nice.
Great work.
And is the concept of like a GLTF integration or some form of 3D object file type, like for a button or for a slider bar, for instance, something with
Yeah,
depth?
yeah, for sure. So you can put anything. So maybe to wrap it up better, everything is layouted using Flexbox. So the Flexbox engine I'm using, or this uses, is a Yoga, and you can easily put 3D elements into the scene, into the layout, and they will also behave correctly in terms of other elements. I'm not sure if I have an example here that actually has like nothing hosted, I think, but it's possible, definitely. Like I have examples locally that have key elements in them, so it's totally doable. Here's an example which shows how you can. So in this case, there are geometries or like GLTF elements inside this window, but it's only rendered through a frame buffer. So as it's probably not exactly what you're asking for, but of course, yes, it's doable. So yeah, you can mix and match everything. You can put the text aside to a GLTF. Yeah. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. And yeah, I'm still interested. I've never seen a 3D text font file, and I think that's something that needs to get invented one day, some sort of way to hold those. But I like it. Thanks.
What do you mean with 3D text?
Well, text that has some depth. You can do it in Troika, but they just extrude the SDF and add a Z plane to it. But I think there should be normal font packages that have a depth,
Mhm.
and not
Yeah.
just a GLTF file per letter type.
Yeah. So as I said, it's a very like basic text implementation I'm using. I'm not using the Troika text implementation because the Troika text implementation does the text layouting, so the positioning of where each character is. It does it asynchronously in a worker, which doesn't behave correctly with the layout engine Yoga, because Yoga expects it to be computed synchronously. So I had to do that, rebuild that. But yeah, currently the text is limited to having different colors. And you can, of course, have different font files in there, so you can have bold text and all that, but no such feature as 3D and all that, unfortunately. But there's lots of ways to go, and as I said, because it's a simple implementation of text, it can be easily extended.
Nice.
Any other questions to like the of basis of UI kit that I could answer?
Will you be porting it to other engines as well?
What do you mean with other engines, like except from 3JS?
Yeah, Babylon or other engines.
Yeah, yeah. Most likely not. It's mostly because what I'm familiar with, but um, it's so currently it's there are so many engines on, like, because of the word engine. There are already so many engines on top of 3JS, like React Fiber and other engines that work on top of um, 3JS. So it's an effort to support all those. And if then I would also have to support other rendering engines. But
Mm.
what I do want to support is the knowledge that I gathered building this. So I'm trying to write blog posts about it, how the actual implementation is happening. So I would love to share my learnings so that others can use that. And of course, like, all the code is open source, and many parts are completely, like, could be directly transported to other engines. There like there is like there are some parts that are related to 3JS, but there are also parts that are mostly unrelated to 3JS. So I'm not planning to port it, but I would love to support others if they want to build something similar for other engines. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Are you familiar with what Coconut XR did? So I just there's the work that they're doing. Do you follow that project at all?
It's funny because, like, like I worked there, and it basically, I'm not sure if you know my name, you know that I built those projects. So UIKit is a follow-up of Köstlich, and yeah, so I'm familiar with that. Yes, very much familiar. So everything I learned from building Köstlich has gone into UIKit, essentially. Okay, then yeah, I would love to share a live demo of something I just implemented. And if there are any questions that relate to UIKit or to the live demo, as I said, feel to just stop me anywhere and ask it. So UI building UIKit and publishing UIKit, I already saw like many people adapting it. Like, there are already companies using it in production, building WebXR applications with it. And but of course, it requires to understand Three.js still. It requires to do like project setup, setting up some kind of build process because it's like mostly TypeScript and all that stuff. And one aspect is to support the conversion of HTML, CSS to UIKit. And so in the latest version, I tried to build that. And this functionality is now implemented. But and I also built a tool to like celebrate this functionality. And it's I deployed it yesterday. It's not live. It didn't publish it or didn't announce it on Twitter yet. So I thought it was a good idea to share it here. And this tool is called HTML23. It's free open source software. It's part of the UIKit repository. It's live now. Uh, send it
I'm
in.
sorry, your mic's maybe going out a little bit. Can you say what that was again? I apologize if it was my.
Sorry, what part did you miss?
Maybe just the last sentence. It seemed like your mic was going out. I don't, or maybe that was my audio. I apologize.
Okay, I'm sorry for that. So yeah, and I just shared the link for HTML23 in the chat in case anyone wants to follow up my live demo or like check it out after that. So HTML23 is, as I said, a free open source tool, part of the UIKit repository, and it's structured in a way that on the left side you can write HTML, and on the right side you get a canvas, Three.js scene, a preview, and there are also buttons to enter AR, VR, to send it to a headset, and some other functionality I will explain shortly. And on the bottom, you can see the UIKit code that is generated based on the HTML. So you can use this tool to prototype things. You can use it to generate real code and then go into coding. It basically is there to allow people to get to use UIKit easier. So if you're familiar with HTML, if you're familiar with CSS, Tailwind, possibly ShadCN, which is a UI library, that's pretty popular right now to build UIs. If you're familiar with any of that, this will be like a really easy getting started for UIKit. So I have some examples on the top here. Everybody can easily access, and I will maybe start with this cookies banner. So if you click on that, you can see on the left side there is the HTML code that represents the cookie banner. And on the right side, you can see the preview of this code. And on the bottom, you can see the output, which would be, so in this case, it's React. But as I said, UIKit also works on vanilla Three.js. And this is all nice, but because we are in Three.js now, we are in like a real 3D engine, we can do a little bit more here. So you can edit anything. So it's like I can write, change something here, and it will be updated on the red side. We also have these like switches; they are functional. The buttons have other effects; it's all there. You can change the background via this button on the right. Maybe to this, yeah, to this forest scene. So I can hover around and look it from different angles, but the UI is still like plain and 2D, which is like not using all the possibilities of a 3D engine. So what I can do, is turn this white cookie banner into something more 3D. So I'm adding, I'm now coding live on the left side, and I'm using Tailwind classes, but you can also use plain CSS inline styles. I'm giving the cookie banner a border with the same color as as the background, and I'm bending the border and applying it in material metal. So I've now changed this cookie banner from a 2D normal basic material to a metal material. You can also do like you can do everything that 3JS has. So I have like a material for glass and all that, and you can still change the theme. So right now we are in a light theme, and I can change it to dark theme or dark mode, and all the colors react properly because we have defined our HTML, CSS with the theme colors. And yeah, so basically, like we turned a normal HTML code for cookie banner into a like full 3D object that reacts correctly to light. And if I'm changing the environment, everything reacts properly. I can go back to metal in this case, and it will be shiny and all that stuff. And basically, the starting point I started at, the cookie banner, is actually not written by me, but it was generated by an AI from Vercel. It's called V0. And what I've actually took was the output of that engine. If I find it here. Yeah. So as you can see here, I've just taken the output code. So in case this is this output code here, I copied it into V0 into HTML23, and then changed the material. And it was and so I didn't have to build the HTML code myself. I can of course do that, but I also can use like the power of AI to generate my user interfaces now. And so I think this can allow like everybody to get started or to build 3D user interfaces that are compatible with WebXR in basically no time. So yeah, that's my presentation. As I said, that this tool is live now. You can try it out, and it will be shared soon on Twitter and stuff. But yeah, this is a very early preview. And maybe one thing, you can click on the button to share it, and then it will generate a link, and you can I can share it here, and all of you should be able to access that link and get exactly the same user interface that I just showed. So it also enables everyone to like prototype something, share something, and somebody else can reiterate over it and change something. And yeah, we can all maybe make cool, crazy user interfaces really fast.
Nice.
Nice.
Thank you. Are there any?
Amazing.
You talk a little bit about the CSS. It's all CSS.
Yeah, so basically, as you can see on the bottom, there is the UI kit code. And so basically what is happening is the HTML is parsed, it is translated and then applied. So not everything can be transported over. So it's not like 100% of CSS is supported, but it's like, I would say like 80% of the functionality or 90% of the functionality of HTML CSS is there, of what you can build. So, and what I've written here, just to clarify, it's Tailwind classes. If you're familiar with Tailwind, but you're completely fine with just writing inline styles. I'm a fan of Tailwind, so I wrote these, and I think they're like a little bit more concise. But yeah, it's like it's parsing the HTML, it's converting it to UIKit, and since UIKit is it's built to be compatible with HTML and CSS properties. Most of the translating is just like just porting over. There's no big translation layer because both is so similar. So in a way, yes, they are just copied over, but there is some translation, some parsing happening to allow that.
Automatically figuring out, the font size coming from Tailwind.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that's like because Tailwind needs to do some like conversion. Like Tailwind itself is not like a big CSS big CSS file. It's actually like some kind of parser that parses that converts the classes that you write into CSS. So for that reason, the CSS, the Tailwind support requires to actually like collect all the classes and convert them to CSS. But as I said, like I can make a short example here. I can use just like uh, just write. Not sure if you can see this from the font side from the screen, but I just wrapped the cookie hello world in a span. I wrote style font size 50 pixel, and now it's bigger. And if I change it to 10, it's very small. So yeah, I'm not sure if that. I hope that answers the question. I'm not sure. Perfect.
Do those AR and VR buttons work out of the box?
They do work, but there's not yet the panel. The panel might be positioned at your origin. So they do work, but I need to implement grabbable so that the UI can be grabbed and positioned anywhere. So mostly, as I said, this is like a brand new. I just deployed it yesterday, so the core functionality is there, but I'm not approving AR and VR functionality is like yet on point. But it will not be that hard to perfect it. Yeah, but they should work. So you should be able to go into the actual scene. But as I said, it might be that the UI is like at the origin or not visible or something. Are there any other questions? you would like, I can also.
Really be fantastic.
Sorry.
I think this is really going to open up, like you said, this is very easy to use for people who aren't skilled in 3JS work, etc. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying this, actually.
Thank you. Thank you. Why it's only single-sided? Yeah, it's only single-sided. I wouldn't be sure what to display on the back side, but mostly it's maybe to ask back, what would you render on the back side? Mm-hmm.
Really curious about the material. Jealous material, metal material.
Yeah.
Might be completely
Mm-hmm.
like it's a wood panel, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that's possible.
Yeah.
Is it something? This tool was basically for designing that UI kit.
Yes. So so the HTML23, it's what you said. It's just for getting you started. So it's not trying to be the full-blown tool that can do everything. It tries to be the least amount. It tries to do the least amount that is necessary for people to get started. If you get started and you have a cool prototype that looks nice, but you have something, as you said, maybe you have a material that is much more complex and needs much more fine tuning, then you can, of course, just take the code that is generated, and in here you can just write your own panel material class. So what you see here, panel material class, is the actual class, the class of material, the 3JS material that is applied. And you can change that however you want. I'm not sure about like compatibility with other tools like Maya. I'm not sure if, I guess most of it can be exported to GLTF, and then you can use the material from the GLTF, but I'm not sure about if all the properties from Maya can be used in 3JS. So to clarify, you can only use materials from 3JS because this is only rendering things with 3JS. There was a question, can the material be transparent? Yes, everything is transparent by default. That has to be the case because maybe to clarify also, what you see here is it is just a rectangle. So that what the GPU is rendering are two triangles. It looks 3D because I'm bending the normals at the border, and it also looks like it is rounded, but there are only two triangles, and the border radius is applied to the shader. So because the rectangles are transparent, everything is. Because the rectangles can have border radius, they must also be transparent because they are partially transparent. So yes, I can just write opacity 50, and it may not be on the card header. So now the card header is more transparent. I can also apply it to everything here. So it seems that let's remove that. Okay, it seems I found a bug right there, so it doesn't seem to be applied to the background card. I'm not sure why that is, but I guess it's because the background card has a default opacity and it's not overwritten. But yeah, everything is every material can be transparent, and they are basically transparent, and it works in VR. Will the text lose resolution if close to the camera in VR? Because it's a distance function. If you go really close to anything, it's still sharp. So it uses a multi-site distance function, which has some clarity improvements about normal site distance functions. And yeah, it will be perfectly, if you're going really close to it, it's perfect. The problems of site distance functions are rather when you're going away from it. And that needs a little bit of work. So if you zoom out, you can see that the text is getting darker because at some point, part of the text is only rendered by less than 1 pixel, which then reduces the text brightness. That needs a little bit of more work. The legibility, if the text is really small, but if you zoom in, it's really high quality. Did I miss any questions, or maybe does somebody else have any questions? Okay, wait a second. I think okay. Yeah. What window did you test? I'm guessing like the cookie banner, or like one of these examples. Okay, so it's the cookie banner. Yeah. As I said, like there is a little bit more improvements. For instance, like this cookie right here is an actual 3JS geometry. So it could also be rendered using multi-channel sign distance function. So there's like, in terms of draw calls, it could be limited to 2 or 3. But yeah, it should be relatively performant already on mobile hardware. Mhm. Yeah. It has so it uses the idea of CSS transformations to do that. So you can just transform position Z, and you can move it to the front and to the back. You can also rotate things, so you have all the capabilities of 3D transformations. There's a question regarding animation, SVG animations. SVG animations are a little bit difficult, as I said, because the SVG is passed by 3JS and converted to actual geometry. So it's the geometry is static. Animations in general, you can just like there are no, like what you would expect, like declarative animations that you would expect from HTML and CSS. They are not supported yet, but also that's relatively like difficult. So, and I didn't focus on that yet. But what you can also always do is what you expect from Free.js is that you just get a reference of the object you created, and you can change the parameters at runtime however you want, and they are reasonably fast. So changing something, if you change the background color of one panel, it will only, because every panel is instanced and the color is actually stored in a buffer. If you change the color of one instance panel, it will only ask the GPU to rewrite this part of the buffer that has been changed. So it's like all optimized for performance. And like these hover effects, they are declarative. So you can write hover colon, or you can specify hover effects manually, and you can basically say, if you are hovering over something, change the material to something different, or something like that. So animations, like declarative animations, like you would expect from CSS, are not possible, but you have all the controls of what you would expect from Free.js. Yeah. Are there any other questions? I can also, if can also make another example, or like use V0 to generate a new user interface live and port it over or something. If somebody wants something, just ask. Yes. Okay, then I guess I just stop sharing, and yeah, thank you so much for hearing me out on this. Yeah, I would really love to see what if somebody tries it out and builds something and like tag me on Twitter or something. I would love to see people building crazy UIs with this. And yeah, thank you so much for hearing me out. Thank you.
Likewise.
Yeah. It's the link is correct. I'm not sure what was asked, but I shared the tool again. Thank you.
Not as a presentation, I'm guessing. I think more of a casual conversation. Let's do it. Sure. So at the moment we're building our latest game into mobile and desktop, so that's almost finished. Archie Evolution. So that's coming out hopefully soon. And we're also building a multiplayer mode for the game as well. So those are the things I'm currently working on. And if anyone wants to try something new, the latest game jam game we did, definitely gonna plug that. Something in WebXR. It's not super polished, but I think it's pretty interesting. So do check it out. Oh, you tried it? Oh, okay. Yeah, do check it out. Just a tip, people get confused on level 2. You have to give the key to yourself. So just a small tip there. Thank you. Thank you. What are you working on? Can you talk about what you're working on? Oh, nice. Did you learn a lot? No? Yeah. Mm. Oh, interesting. That's nice. What kind of projects did you build? Yeah, we've been missing games from you. Do it. It's always good. I'm checking out if I can give you guys a link for Archer Evolutions flat mode. I think this could work. I think it's broken on mobile, but it'll work on this. Oh wait, the chat is in Discord, right? It's not linked? Okay. Okay. Yeah, so anyone here can definitely check it out on their desktop device. Mobile works, but there's just a bug in the current deployment. No, that's single player. Multiplayer technically works, but I really don't want to show that right now because it's not polished. It's very it's a bit janky. So we're planning on announcing a beta soon. So I gotta work hard on that. Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to having something. We have like a lot of the systems in place already. So we have like randomized avatars, the shooting works, the rounds, the game system works. So if you start rounds, end rounds and stuff. So we need like the UI for it, and like the animations need to improve. And then I think we're good to go. And it's technically multi-platform, but it's, yeah. We're probably gonna separate desktop and VR users just because it's not fair again for the VR users if they're being shot at by desktop users. Free for all for now. But I mean, it'd be easy to make teams, but we just wanna, get it out there and see how people like it. If that's more the idea. Yeah, it's been a bit of a drag to release this. To be honest, it's been ready for like months, but there's just like these small issues coming up.
It's a very clean splash screen.
Thank you.
There's another one. There's a game. It's in the Quest environment. It's a through the Quest store game called Nook, Nook, or something like that. Also, sort of a archery slash. You kind of shoot at a ball and try to get the ball into a net kind of story.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It's like what's the game? The
Nook. I've actually got it. I haven't played it in a little while.
No, I know the game. I saw videos of it. It has really great art style.
Look, somewhat, and it's somewhere a combination because even the locomotion function for it is almost like Gorilla Tag before Gorilla Tag came out. There's sort of this sliding, sort of drag yourself along the somewhere between skating and sliding, and at the same time archery, which is
Yeah,
interesting. So I'd be interested to try your approach.
yeah. I mean, our game has been on the new tab page since the start of the year, as far as I know. And on the Quest, it works. I think it came out in November, and we've been pushing some updates since then, added some levels, and now we kind of want to see how like the users amount is if we release it on like um, desktop and then try to see, okay, can we get additional revenue from it, and then see how we can maybe put it on additional platforms. We've already like have demos of it running as an app as well, so that's pretty cool. So if it works out on these game sites, I'm thinking about like just deploying it to the App Store to see how it does. But obviously, there's like a little bit of hurdles since the game wasn't like actually planned to have been released on those platforms. So monetization is a bit, an afterthought. So that kind of hinders that a bit. But yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes.
What do the avatars look like?
I'll send you a screenshot right now. I knew that you would ask this. I knew you would ask this, man. Wait, I might have a screenshot actually on the server. Might be able to send you that one. Or else I'll just start a local instance of the multiplayer and then that should work.
You can just drag and drop it here.
They're not VRM, but I can actually do that, yes. So let me get those in. Static avatars models. You want the male one or the female one?
Yeah, whichever.
Okay, let's get this guy. Oh, yeah, sorry. This one doesn't have textures because we load them dynamically, but this is the silhouette, I guess. I'll send a screenshot. Give me a sec. We randomize the avatars, so that's why they're not like visible in there. Okay, I think we can actually play around. How about that?
Does Gorilla Tag? Do you play Gorilla Tag? Have you played it?
Yes.
Do they do how do they monetize? Do they do hats?
Yeah, IAPs. As far as I know, they do exclusive to IAPs. So here's the screenshot of a broken oh, my PC is lagging. Oh god. So this is, can I not paste screenshots here? I guess I have to save it as an image. Mhm. Coming in a second. There we go. So this is the avatar that we have. So we're going Rayman style because
Wait, where'd you post it? I don't see anything.
I have it here next to me. I don't know if I can scale it.
Anyone see it?
Here, in
It's an
front of you.
image.
It's here. How about I just paste the link? It's gonna be a shit show, but I don't care. Let's do this. So this might crash. This is quite possible that it'll crash. So let's go, guys. Just jump in. It's an early demo. Please don't share it and everything. Just yeah, that's true. It's okay. Did the
That's
server
what
die?
Twitch is for, man.
Hey, we have 2 people. I'll copyright strike you though. Yeah, it hasn't started yet, but all right, let's do it. Oh, I'm seeing some transforms jaggy, being jaggy. Okay, I got my first kill. What's going on there? Yeah, the game round started, so you might need to wait a bit. Ah, I win. So we have only 2 kills right now, but so many people. Yeah, this is the lobby. It's just doesn't have a mesh right now. Yeah, we can start again. Sure. It's okay. This is a spontaneous first view into the game. Sorry, I just won again. Oops. Okay, there's a bug. So the server doesn't let us play anymore. Because someone is playing, someone's up there. Someone's already, yeah, someone's up there. So you have to find the sphere and then shoot it and end the round. So you already started the round before we were ready. So you can kill twice and then it'll reset. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Yes. There we go. The ground doesn't start either. So I think some people are upstairs. yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna leave.
I was trying to jump in on VR.
No, so sorry. That deployment doesn't work in VR. We technically have a deployment that works in VR, but we're specifically keeping the deployment separate.
Cool,
Because
cool.
I mean, we could make cross-platform play easily available, but just decided not to for convenience reasons for VR users. But it's gonna have a multiplayer release in VR, of course. But yeah, that's what we've been working on. There's lots of stuff happening in the background, so this is just, you know, a preview, a couple months old, I think.
Nice one. Good deal.
Thanks.
Well, guys, good luck. Talk to you later. There we go.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been working on a WASM port of transform, so you can do all of like the node commands, but in the browser. And yeah, it works. I've been building a 3D asset manager, and that's what I'm using for like the optimization. But what's interesting is you can put these WASM workers like alongside a Cloudflare worker and send it files and get compressed versions of them. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on lately.
Sweet.
Oh, I mean, I can do a quick demo if that's okay.
Wait, was that source scoop? Wow. It's the Swiss Army knife for GLTF. No, yeah, it's all good.
I've heard about this.
Can y'all see my screen?
How have you been optimizing stuff? In Blender? Wow.
And when you work on Wonderline, you don't need to optimize; it does it for you. So you kind of work around that.
Oh, do y'all have like auto LED?
That's the one thing that we don't have, yeah. Needle has that now. That looks really cool, though.
What do you mean? What about model splitter?
Model splitter? What's that again?
Yeah, Yinch worked on it.
Oh, right there's that. Yes, true. But that's not part of official Wonderland. It's an add-on.
Ah, well, I think it's the closest thing to Needle's auto LED.
Yeah, but I feel like Needles is part of the engine, so that you get it out of the box. With model splitter, you have to do
Yeah.
a bit of a manual.
That's what I think needs to be the standard for web platforms. And I think what Ant is working on also can lead to that, because then you turn your like skillet into a frying pan. You know, that's how you turn the stove on. So that
Yeah.
the ingredients people throw in, they don't even have to think twice. It just starts cooking.
It's kind of the magic.
Well,
And
can y'all
PB,
see my screen
you
here?
want to
I
take
can
the
show really
stage?
quickly. What?
Yes,
Yeah, we
please.
see. It's
Okay,
showing
cool.
hubs.
All right, cool. So yeah, so what I've been building is it's an asset manager for people to upload their 3D files and optimize them and create metadata around them so that they can parse them and get more fine-tuned results. But the way that this works is if I go 3D files, I can just grab a random file here. I've been using this one as a really good example, but this is a 41 megabyte file. And so this will load in here after a while. And the reason this file is so big is because it has a bunch of like textures in there that are screenshots. So tons of PNG files, tons of just like, I built this speed run, no care for file size. And so yeah, 41 megs, and you can define things like your gradient color, so that when this asset is saved, it creates a thumbnail, and then that thumbnail will look kind of natural with the asset. So you can change the colors and do some cool stuff with it. When you have that, you can generate tags. So I send an image of the thumbnail to OpenAI to generate some tags for it, and then it'll create those. And then you can pick categories for it. So I'll just put this in my favorites. And the thing I was mentioning earlier, the GLTF transform, the WASM module, here, when you enable compressed textures on an upload, you can select what file type all the textures are going to get converted to, and then the size for them. So I'll just like make this go down to 512 with JPEGs. I have no transparency, I don't think. Actually, yeah, that works. And then from there, I can, I'll go WebP because I think I do have transparency. So then if I click process, what's going to happen is in the browser, that WASM module is going to accept the file, compress it, apply all of the things that I want. I can even add metadata. So the XMP extension, you can click enable XMP and add, like I can say DC author and then make the author me and PV. And then once I click process, it'll optimize the textures, add all of these extensions, and have it ready for upload. And the uploadable file is going to be, let's see, what do we got? 0.71 megs. So it went from 40 megs to 0.71. Then I can click the upload button and should upload. There it is. And then people can preview it. And because I'm saving all the camera data, when you click preview, you're going to see exactly how the thumbnail views it. So then people can create their own embeddable versions of these that have all of the metadata needed to have a really nice preview. And I think that's something that's been missing in file managers, is just a really nice presentation layer for what you have and categorization of it, so that I can say, give me my favorites only, or give me my avatars and my favorites, or whatever. And what's interesting about this is when you get into my main project that I work on is the 3-object viewer for WordPress. It's a WebXR world builder where people can, in the WordPress editor using the native block system, create worlds, so that you know, these are shared experiences. They can be networked and all of that. But what's interesting with Toybox, you can select a model and open straight from the media library all of those files. So there's that 0.71 meg file there that's in my library. But more interesting, I've got a browser extension that I've been working on that will, oh, I logged out. Well, I'm gonna just, log in really quick. So there's that file. If I click and drag from the browser extension straight into 3OV, it will add that file to the world. And then people can get building quickly. And yeah, so if I update this post, view the world, I've also got an integration in 3OV where it will accept a VRM file. So if I drag from the browser extension again into the avatar section and join, I should be that pyramid. Yeah, there I am. And I'm on an 8 gig MacBook Air, so I probably will have performance issues. But yeah, you can use these assets. But the thing that this solves is WordPress sites. It's probably not a good idea to serve big 3D assets from a WordPress site, and that's where all of this content is living. So the Toybox extension that I've been working on kind of acts as a CDN, so you don't have all of those files living on the same source as the site. And then, yeah, so it's got I built a CLI, I've built, there's a Vision Pro app that it's not using WebXR, unfortunately. I'm using the native app with React Native. So yeah, bit of a bummer there, but this is compatible with Vision Pro, so people will be able to join in on the 3OV sites in Vision Pro. But yeah, that's the gist of it. I'm trying to open source every bit that I can that makes sense, like the WASM module, so that other people can build uploaders that do this in a very similar way. But in the near future, people will be able to do things like build worlds using just their assets that they have here. They get an API key, and this can integrate with anything. Yeah, so the API key can be used to say, give me a list of my objects and build me a world with, fun stuff in it. And then it can use the word fun as some kind of categorization to go through all the tags and find the things that may be fun and then build a world using them. Then you can use a vision model to look at all of those thumbnails and decide where they would go and how they would go together. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now with this. I'm in beta right now. There's just a few users, but it's coming together.
Sweet. What are you planning on doing with the product? What's your direction? Is it open source, or you're
Well,
selling it on
3OV has been
WordPress?
open source for 2 years now. I'm part of like the WordPress core team, so I've been in that world for a while, and I kind of believe that there needs to be an ecosystem before you start trying to monetize on an engine. And I think a lot of people have been building their own systems, like very fragile hosting environments and stacks. And WordPress has been kind of proven, so that's the one I've been betting on. But it's so one of the requirements of WordPress to have a plugin in the repository is to be GPL. So the core of 3OV, the rendering engine, is actually GPL and will always be. So my monetization model on top of it is going to be services like voice and AI services for object generation, and then the asset hosting, which is the Toybox product. And all of this is inside of a portal that will kind of offer all of these products together. So that's sort of how a lot of WordPress businesses have been building on top of open source, is they figure out services on top of these that they can offer. And then one of the big things that I've been really conscious of when building 3OV is allowing an option to just bypass whatever monetized bit that I'm going to offer. So for instance, the voice servers, I'm open sourcing the signaling that people can host their own Cloudflare worker if they want, and do their own turn servers for voice, or they can come to me and just pay for an API key. So I'm trying to follow that model that I've seen like LiveKit does very similar. I think I want to do exactly the same way that they're doing it. So yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm also looking for a solution for audio, so I was gonna build it on MediaPipe, but I know how like scalability becomes an issue there.
Yeah, I'm focusing more on like the 10 user groups, not more than just a few, and kind of like these meetup types of situations. Yeah, not yet. The voice servers, because 3OV is entirely peer to peer, and if someone can't have a peer to peer network, it will fall back to the turn signaling or the turn servers for voice. I'm using P2PCF, which is made by Greg Fodor, who made a lot of hubs. And yeah, so it's built on open source too, so anyone can spin up their own networking, like the signaling and also the turn server.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for letting me show it off. If anyone wants to or has any questions, feel free to hit me up in the WebXR Discord. I have the same username.
I'm trying to figure out if LiveKit would be the solution to put into Arch Revolution.
I think LiveKit's great. I would actually very much recommend it. It's so that's another thing I'm going to be doing very soon is so like I was saying how I want it to be possible for people to bypass whatever networking solution I choose. I'm looking to also support as many networking solutions as I can. So there will be just like a drop down in the settings menu to say I'm using LiveKit, and everything will just wire up perfectly.
Oh, that's nice. That's a good way to solve that.
Yeah, because like, what is networking? What is multiplayer? At the end of the day, you're just sending your position on events at a certain rate and doing voice. You know, it's like it's when you say it that simply, it's very easy to make a configuration for people.
Yeah, I mean, there's also performance issues when you have like real-time multiplayer stuff. You get like, I think I need a separate server for voice processing.
Yeah,
if I'm
maybe.
doing processing on server, I don't know, but
yeah,
it's
it
just...
gets really tricky with games that have like objectives and win conditions, and you know, you try to keep people from hacking it.
Yeah, that part is gonna be hilariously difficult.
Yeah, I don't know how you solve that. Like, I mean, you could have some kind of like authoritative user and then something in the middle to validate, but then like that's a lot of time.
Yeah, you do get a lot of latency in there. That's something you also don't want in your VR multiplayer game, ideally, but you just hope people are well-intentioned, I guess, at some point. And at some point, when you have issues like huge amount of people hacking, I think you need to hope that you have enough money to hire someone who's in infosec and can help you figure out how to make a system that is more secure.
Yeah, I was actually trying to think of how do you enforce a jumping puzzle. How do you enforce like, or how do you keep people from cheating? And one of the ideas that I had was keeping a log of their movement, and if their movement jumped a certain delta, they obviously change their position. And then another one is when they get to the goal, do they take a screenshot and send it somewhere so that you can validate that screenshot was actually taken from that point when they hit the win condition, so that they're not just triggering win. And then I was like, it kept getting deeper and deeper.
That's an interesting solution of using like image recognition. Like, I think that's gonna be a thing though, to have like a referee essentially that
Yeah, totally
checks if the if the game was actually played, and then like, because every game until now has been infested with cheating that has multiplayer.
Yeah, like AI could solve it, maybe. Like maybe it's just an observer in the room, and if it sees shenanigans, it resets you or kicks you out.
It's probably a
Or just
company.
reset.
It's probably a company that's gonna be built out at some point to build agents for games that act as
Definitely.
referees.
Yeah, that's in progress for sure. At least 10 of those right now.
I mean, that's literally what World of Warcraft did, right? They have GMs running around and checking on people and seeing if anyone cheats or bots, and then they ban them.
That's good enough for the most part.
I can.
Oh yeah.
I can maybe add a little bit about the multi-user peer-to-peer part, because I've worked on that a little bit. One idea is to basically only share events. So it's like a rollback solution, but you won't have the issue of somebody cheating by sending like false positions, because there is no, if you only send events, somebody cannot cheat in sending wrong events.
So
Yeah,
what
that's
if they
true.
like trigger the event though? Like what is the event? What defines an event?
Yeah, it's if you can view a multi-user system relatively simply if you just say you define user interactions like walking forward, like pressing W on your keyboard, and you define your state as a reducer, so every event triggers a change in state. And if you transmit the local timestamp in a peer-to-peer network, and basically rollbacks, and this thus ensuring that everyone has the same order of events, it's possible.
That's interesting. So is it kind of trailing it and watching them as it happens? Like is it playing back the log for each participant and everyone's kind of validating them?
You don't need to, like, what you need to validate in that case is, of course, that the timestamps are not too far in the future or not too far in the past. But, and yes, of course, that will be that the rollbacks, they happen. So you go back in time, fix something, and recompute the current state. So it's not like it doesn't scale to millions of players, but it is possible.
Interesting.
But it does seem like it's gonna be a limiting factor for like real-time applications that have like a high action-based gameplay, right? Because you do have like, you don't have like the resources to have rollbacks or like validate if someone did an action or not.
Yeah,
like
that's
the
kind
time
of,
is just not there.
Yeah, that's kind of why I focused when I built the first game on top of 3OV, because there's a plugin system where you can add your own plugins on top. I built an example chess game that used GPT to make the next move, so it was actually acting like a coach, and it would talk to you as you're playing it. And I kind of laughed at myself when I finished it, because I chose the easiest possible game to control the state of, because it's like you play a move and you don't know what they're going to do next because it's turn-based, so you got like tons of control and you can't really cheat. Like, it's not like I can tip their king over and be like, I win.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, is I also had the same issue with chess. It's easy, obviously. You have like the other player validating the moves. You have like a peer-to-peer chess game as well, and that was surprisingly easy. And then you have this real-time archery game, and then it's a clusterfuck of like what can they do, right? What do you transmit? What do you communicate? What do you do at what point? And then you get all kinds of weird states where you don't really know basically who killed someone if you don't have the right person having the right authority at certain points.
It's super cool, but that's exactly why I took baby steps. I was like, I'm gonna know my limits here, and I'm not gonna push for these really hard problems that other people have solved with money.
Yeah, I wish there was like a better networking solution for building games, but I have not met yet one that, makes it easier than Callisto is what we're using. And even there, it's like WebSocket based, so I know I'm not getting like the max speed that I could be getting if I used like WebRTC or something.
I would take a look at Third Room. The source code they got there, they had some concept of authority in a room, and like there was some like beginning logic of that kind of work. Might be interesting, and I think they were using they were using like BitECS and then having some kind of like validation. I can't remember how it works, but definitely look at that project.
Third Room.
Third Room, yeah.
Oh yeah, Robert was working on that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Robert Long. There we go. 9 months ago. Oh no, abandoned.
Yeah, I think they've just left it in maintenance mode or something. I'm not too sure what the status of that project is, but it's a good example of like the networking layer and how you can structure authority and things like that.
Oh damn! But it's like a full stack WebXR app essentially.
Yeah, and they use Matrix for voice.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I got
Third
the.
Room.
I got the.
If you do Third Room Matrix, you'll find it.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, totally. Yeah, sometimes I just catch the chat, the back scroll on the Discord just to get the links.
I had like a peer-to-peer simple peer-to-peer solution to power some of the games that I'd built, but there's actually like a voice chat bug in Chrome, I think, that happens at some points that I can't reproduce in any situation. That like essentially made me use a different framework that is more failure tolerant, and I think LiveKit also has either workarounds or some sort of a way that works around that bug. I don't know, but I need to check that out for sure and build it out. Holy sh! This is a rabbit hole, man.
I put a video in the chat of like, I think this is from like last night, of where I'm at with my networking, but it kind of shows you how I'm updating at like a 5 hertz refresh rate, but interpolating enough to where it kind of looks pretty okay. Like, I think it looks all right. Been a pain in the butt though doing this. It's like some animation state. It's really hard to do networking. I'm having fun learning it. Many.
I mean,
yeah.
There's a lot of
yeah.
There's so many people doing different stuff. Like Croquet is doing really interesting stuff with multi-users, multi.
Yeah. There's actually one really good one that I think is what is it? A Tag Pro. It's a game that I think I'm pretty sure it's like peer-to-peer. They got some server in the middle. But either way, it's a competitive game that is fast-paced but very simple 2D. Like you're just two circles fighting for a flag or whatever it is, like capture the flag. I highly recommend it, trying it out if you have like a team and just play it as a team and hang out. But it's inspiring, I think. It's interesting, all the game modes too that they've made, because it's a flat top-down view of a world, but there's some modes where they like turn gravity on, and what you thought was flat is now vertical, and all your characters go straight to the bottom, and it becomes a platformer. And it's just interesting. Like, it's a web game, and they have some physics engine behind it, but the no one cheats. I haven't heard of any cheating, or I don't know how they prevent people from cheating, but I think that would be an interesting one to look at, because I think some of their stack is open source, and if not, a lot of people have been posting hacks and things. Yeah, totally. I remember those days. There was one that I would play. It was called it was Chex Quest, which was like a CD-ROM game that gave him the cereal, but somebody made a PvP version of it. So you were just like cereal with sporks fighting each other, and that was like the most fun game ever. We didn't care who won. We just like sporking people.
I remember like a tank game where we had hot seats and everyone was like shooting at. It's like a 2D game where everyone was shooting each other, and then you could destroy the environment, which was pretty cool gimmick.
That sounds super familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, you could buy like upgrades after each run and stuff like that. It's a pretty nice game. Yeah, we didn't have network access, so we could only play like online games. At some point, someone got installed an emulator on the devices, and then people started playing like Nintendo 64 games. That's cool. That was pretty epic. Yeah, those Netscape. Yeah, but I feel like there were more interesting web games when Flash was around. Even though we have better technology now, Flash made so much cultural impact, I feel like. And everybody went to mobile games, and now mobile games are like, where everybody is. Web is kind of slouching, but there's good stuff being made, but comparable to mobile, I think it's still a difficult market. What do you mean? Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, it's an artist tool first. Then it's
but back when I was building, so I used to work for an agency when I was like a teenager, and the reason I worked there was because I learned Flash at an even younger age, and I was making 3D websites for the agency, and that was actually our specialty, was that we used Paper Vision was the rendering engine, and they were like brochure type websites, but they were 3D brochure type websites, and that was like 2009, 2010. And there was a glimmer of what we have today. There was like an early preview that we got, and Steve Jobs said no. Fairly. That was the problem. Yeah, I remember that, because that was actually why with that job that I had, I was like, that was the greatest news ever when he was like, yeah, you can totally build to the App Store from Flash. Great. And like, we're in business. And then that hit, and then they're like, so maybe you should just learn WordPress. It seemed like 2D websites are going to be the thing now. Like, damn it.
Didn't they refuse to bring Flash to the iPhone? Isn't that why he essentially?
Well, the compromise was that you could build to the App Store, and this is why I've been always so scared of Unity, because Unity essentially is that same model that they agreed to with Flash, but they've long upheld that support, so I don't think they're going to take it away anytime ever. I can't imagine it. But back then, Flash was essentially the Unity to get your apps on the App Store. Super easy to use.
Yeah, I mean, Unity took a lot of the Flash market because of the timing. When Flash was losing all of its customers, people were looking for new tooling, and Unity had all these amazing resources and tons of like usability improvements compared to Unreal. So to get a lot of the users there.
I think a lot of the reason it's popular is because you can publish from it to the App Store. Like that's one of the biggest appeals, and that's why I have a lot of
also
hope
to the
for
web
React
as well.
Native.
So you can publish to anywhere, essentially. Yeah. We can do that with the web too.
I'm telling you, that's why I'm on WordPress.
Comparably, like performance-wise, you're not going to get the same benefits as using native platforms there, but or the tooling is not as good, but
it'll get there. Yeah, I was gonna say we're not far. We're very close.
Everyone says that. Everyone says that. Jonathan says that, and I still haven't seen the proof of like web games essentially making a game in like for iOS or for Android on the web rather than with Unity or Unreal. I still feel like or Godot is not still viable at this point in time.
I think we're like maybe months away. Like it feels away. Like that. Yeah, I feel like that, but we'll see.
I felt like that 2 years ago.
Less than 12, greater than 8.
What makes you say that?
I don't know. I just feel like it's just this. There's a something in the air right now. It feels really good about 3D web and
That
all of the
sounds
things
like
that
an
you can do.
NDA. That sounds like
No,
an
no, not
NDA.
at all. No, I work for myself and by myself, so. I think, yeah, 3D web in general.
Yeah.
I think we're about to hit this point where people start to understand it, and we're just almost there, so close. And Vision Pro is kind of giving us a little bit of a glimmer, I think, but it's obviously not accessible. And that's where I feel like we're some number of months away before Meta probably has a great headset or somebody else has a great headset that is attainable and does all those same things. Then what happens? Like, what if Vision Pro is $400? Everyone would be buying it right now.
I mean, like, just from a strategic point, it's pretty obvious that the Vision Pro was meant for, like, for the developer or like a premium
Yeah.
audience to create like the ecosystem to compete.
I'm finding it very easy to build on. Like my native app I built in, I think, a week, and it completely integrates all the objects that load in from the API, and you can grab them and put them in world, rotate them with 2 hands, 1 hand, whatever, and scale them up, whatever. It's
Yeah, I don't have
very
the
easy.
headset.
They had a pretty good dev kit and everything. I think it's just like you need the ecosystem. You need to be able to be like, oh man, my Discord app just works in there. Great. I don't have to wait for that support. And that's where I think like HoloLens, they're trying to build an ecosystem starting from zero into that app store. It's kind of doomed in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but that one's it's talking to not
Yeah.
more focusing right now developers. They make it feel like it's so convenient, but another convenient.
Yeah, but I mean, even if Apple would have, put up a headset for, $800 or something, they wouldn't have had the apps. So they had to release something that would create an incentive to create apps before they launch a consumer product.
The marketing sets the tone, and
Yeah,
it sets
exactly.
the tone that the developers are going to push, because what it's doing is it's essentially training that developer market to learn how to position their apps and how to build for the future. And yeah, it's just training. It's just like almost like LARPing in a way. Like they're just kind of giving us an idea of what it's going to look like in the future.
And they're building like exclusive tooling, so try to lock in users, and they're not going with OpenXR instead. A lot of their
That's a bummer,
systems
but
are
I feel like that's
proprietary.
temporary. I can't imagine that's a permanent thing.
I don't know, man. And also, like the stuff that you can't really render your own shaders in their,
Yeah, that's
environments.
annoying too.
That's really weird how they
But
like
GLTF works. I got so my app is actually using GLTF in Reality Kit using GLTF Kit 2, and essentially it converts your GLTF file to a recognizable file for the Reality Kit. And oh my gosh, it is the coolest thing seeing a GLTF more crisp than you've ever seen it before. Because I've only ever seen GLTF files in WebXR, and seeing it on Vision Pro as like a Reality Kit object, the lines are just, you can't see jagged edges. It's perfect, unreal.
I'm getting FOMO. I actually had the chance to test it, then I couldn't test it because I had a meeting that collided. So the meeting was really important, so I had to cancel, and I regret that right now so much.
Bummer. Yeah, I mean, I can say a lot of nice things about it, and all of the bad things I can say about it are like kind of small problems that are gonna probably be solved in months.
Yeah, I mean their WebXR support works now, so.
Yeah, that was bad in the beginning, and then they fixed it, and I had to undo all of my custom implementation for clicking.
Yeah, I was like, all these people are building stuff. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be wasted time when they fix all that stuff.
Yeah, that's basically what happened to me. I put cubes on your thumb and index, and then I made it like a double click so people had intent with moving because I kept accidentally triggering it. And it just got so messy where I just started resolving all of the things WebXR solved. So silly, but it's fun.
Yeah, I actually also built like hand tracking for Archer Evolution. I was like, yes, it's gonna be there on day one, and then I learned that their implementation doesn't really do the select events. So I was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
a waste of time now.
Yeah, it should be good now.
Yeah. No, their
Yeah,
implementation was wrong. It didn't
it
set
didn't
the
hit the
events.
select at all.
Yeah.
It never emitted the actual click event. So you could be looking at something, but you would never get the actual event. Yeah, it was a bit weird.
So you had to manually essentially do collision checks between the fingers to detect your own select events essentially at the beginning. Now they fixed that, but that was the case. I don't know if it's in parity with the Quest 3 hand tracking implementation. I mean, just taking a transient pointers aside.
The one thing I've noticed that's a little different, and I think it might be something with my logic, but it doesn't happen on Quest, is controller 1 and controller 2. When your hand is out of view, controller 1 becomes controller 2. So it's like it gets rid of the model completely.
Oh
So you're
no.
having to constantly like juggle which hand is actually open and dominant and working. And then if you have both hands in view and you click with the right one, for some reason, because of that switching, I can't get the click event unless the left hand does the click where the right hand is pointing. So I've got this like weird mess of controller handling that I need to fix. But it's been killing me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, when I get my hands on a Apple headset, I'm probably gonna cry.
The only way that I can make it work
annoying.
reliably right now is you put your hand behind your back and then use one hand. And I feel like so
No.
weird when I do it. I feel like a chicken or something. I don't know. Like I'm putting a tail up on my back.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I feel like one day we're not gonna have these problems. Probably gonna have like really robust tracking systems that are, uniform across
Yeah, it's all
platforms.
temporary.
Yeah. Like the body tracking stuff, I feel like also is gonna just make all the the jaggy IK code that everyone wrote obsolete at some point.
Eventually, we'll see. Well, I've got to bounce out, but it was really cool hanging out with y'all.
Likewise.
Yeah, see y'all around. Bye. Oh yeah, thanks for letting me. I appreciate that. Take it easy.
Awesome. Take care.